Go.
Jeremy Orrick. I work at the Huntington Area Middle School as an English teacher. I have two young boys, Finley and Maddox, and I have a wonderful wife, very supportive wife. Love sports, have coached for many years, was an athlete myself, love watching sports on TV, and of course now I love baking cookies and delivering cookies.
My name is Scott McKenzie. I'm originally from Santa Barbara, California. I have a wonderful wife named Renata, two lovely daughters, Kirsten and Shannon. Lived in Huntington and worked at Juniata College now for 21 years, and am thrilled to have found a passion for serving my community through Cookies for Caregivers. I'm not quite sure you have enough film.
I know.
Cookies for Caregivers is a metaphor for expressing kindness to your community, to acknowledging what contributions your neighbors make in how well your community functions, and making sure that nobody feels insignificant.
It's a group that has brought the community together. It is a group, an opportunity to reach out, an opportunity to build friendships, strengthen friendships. And we always have said it's something that this shouldn't have been taken a pandemic to cause people to be thankful and to spread cheer and thanks.
I received an email in the middle of March last year saying that my position was going to be furloughed as a result of our students being sent off of campus after spring break last year. My job at Juniata is to be the director of athletic operations. With the athletes at home, there was no operations to direct. So I was on the first wave of those who were furloughed, and ended up being furloughed for about 3.5, almost 4 months. So I was sitting at home and I was thinking to myself, what do I do? I'm going to be 58 years old. Is this the time to pivot? Is this time to find something else to do? Or is this the time to be patient and let my employer get through what it's going through and then call me back? I decided to be patient, and then I said, how can I help myself grow through this? So I said, I'm going to do something I've never done before every week that I'm on furlough. And at the time, I was hungry. So I decided to grab the big red Betty Crocker cookbook. I never made cookies from scratch, so I made myself my first batch ever of from scratch cookies. I put it up on Facebook. Jeremy, who, like you mentioned a moment ago, is a teacher, was remotely teaching at home, and he was home with his boys. He was also baking. So he saw my picture of my first dozen cookies and said, looks pretty good. Bet mine are better.
That's right.
Now, when one athlete challenges another athlete, especially with one of the only things we can probably still do athletically without hurting ourselves, he challenged me to a bake-off.
And it was on, right?
And it was on like Donkey Kong.
Being early in the pandemic, he said, let's do more. How about we reach out to essential workers, frontline workers, and then see if we can deliver cookies to them.
We each baked 4 dozen cookies that first day for the judging, and then we left them for the 911 dispatch center and the police officers at the borough office. Took some to Wise Market. Because if you remember back at the beginning of the pandemic, the grocery workers were terrified to go to work because the days of the plexiglass shields in front of the registers and the PPE for retail workers, that wasn't around yet. So these people were terrified, and we wanted to make sure that they understood that we appreciated the sacrifice they were making.
And those were the folks that were going to work every day. You and I both were at home, feeling safe, feeling secure, but we wanted to reach out to those folks who had to go to work every day. And we returned home feeling excited.
Yeah.
And we knew we had something that we never expected it to turn out that way, but the three of us said, let's do this again.
Yeah.
It was easy, it was very rewarding, and Scott created quickly a Facebook group, something else that he had never done before, and called it Cookies for Caregivers. And I quickly reached out with a message to our community members saying, who wants to be involved? We've got this group. We're looking to thank people in our community. Are you interested in baking cookies? And within a week's time, we had 40 or 50 people reach out saying, I want to be involved. What can I do? I'm willing to help.
Something that has struck me has been the number of people who felt invisible, the number of people who go to work every day who really don't think anybody else cares about them. That shocked me. And that's translated into the number of tears we've seen as we've delivered and have said to the people, we see you, we thank you, and what you do is important. And the realization, when somebody who thinks they're invisible all of a sudden realizes that they aren't, that's a really neat moment. And that pays you more than any paycheck can. Both parties. It pays them more than any of their paychecks can, because they feel valued. I think a lot of people in the last 15, 20 years have felt more like a widget than a person. They're part of a machine, not a human being. And what we do is we take that machine and we say, no, you're flesh and blood just like me. You're just like I am. I'm just like you are. It's a great equalizer. We're holding everybody to the same standard. We're saying that when we deliver cookies, sometimes we deliver to the CEO, sometimes we deliver to the person who's cleaning up after everybody else. And they each get the same cookie, each get the same box of cookies, so they're the same. And that also resonates with them. We've had a lot of humility from management and CEOs as part of this, and a lot of emboldened thank yous from people who thought, I'm so far down on the list, nobody's ever going to pay attention. That's been my big eye-opener. We had hoped, one of our initial goals was to have it grow beyond Huntington.
Yeah, I mean, hoping it would go to, Center County or State College area or Altoona, and then when my parents picked it up and started it, then it's like, how many more states can we, what other states can we reach out to? And Arizona was one of the first, and then Chicago, and now we're...
And then the Today Show, Kelly Clarkson helped blow us up into the Today Show. The Today Show helped blow us up coast to coast.
Yeah.
Jeremy and I didn't do anything. Our community did something that other communities have been able to replicate. So I don't think I've ever had that aha moment, I've made it. And I don't think Jeremy has either. But I think what we have had is, look what our little town has taught the country. That making a difference is easier than you think. What I have also learned is having the courage to say yes and then following through on that is gratifying.
And I think the courage to say yes. Another thing that we got out of this too, and I think is a lesson, is going out of that box, doing something different, not being scared to say yes to trying something new. This was new for both of us, and we did. And look how successful it is. So that's a good teaching point as well. When the pandemic ends, hopefully, or dies out, or more and more getting the vaccination, things are opening up, Scott and I don't want to stop. And I sure as heck don't think this community wants to stop. It's a part of our community. It's something that people enjoy. They enjoy doing. It's a family activity, baking cookies, and the joy that our community knows that we're spreading, the kindness we're spreading, the smiles and the reactions that we're getting from people. Why does that have to end? And we've done it for a year, but we've got chapters that have just started and are fresh. They're not going to quit anytime soon.
The important part is that Jeremy and I stay consistent with our messaging, consistent with what we want this group to be known for, and our collective groups to be known for. And I think then we'll be able to ride the waves of success and retraction just fine.
But we have the phrase, there is no expiration date on kindness, so I don't think we want to stop.
Nope.
And cookies are easy to make, cookies are easy to eat too, so.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, sure.
Well, Scott, Jeremy, thank you guys so much for being interviewed and sharing your story, and most importantly, encouraging other people to spread kindness.
Well, thank you for